Hello and welcome to No BS with Dr. Wood, and I'm Dr. Norman Wood. A few days ago, I ran into Mark Fry at a restaurant in Moundsville, and he asked me to talk about education in our schools. So here we go, Mark, and thanks for buying me and Larry breakfast. And it's easy to blame the schools and the teachers, but that wouldn't be fair. Sure, we need to adjust our curriculum back to what truly matters of reading, writing, and math, and get away from all the liberal woke nonsense, but the real problem is much more extensive. So cue the music and let's get back to this. Welcome back to No BS with Dr. Wood. I first want to give an update on my last podcast on John Lucas being run over and killed by an ambulance in Elkview, West Virginia. The driver of the ambulance, 19-year-old Alyssa Middleton, has been indicted and charged with 3 felonies of voluntary manslaughter, aggravated vehicular homicide, and leaving the scene of an accident causing death. If convicted on any of these charges, she will see prison time. This is so unfortunate on so many levels. The tragic loss of John Lucas is horrendous. And whoever approved those 2 young ladies to be out in the middle of the night making runs in an ambulance without a man on the crew should be fired. This is so irresponsible by whoever authorized this. And this is the bigger issue that needs to be resolved. Any female first responder, whether they are police, fire, or EMS, should always have a male crew member with them or very close at hand, because it is dangerous out there. I can't tell you how many times my life was in danger as a state trooper and how many times I fought for my life. My knuckles on both hands are scarred, and we can no longer afford to turn a blind eye to our biological differences. Very few women will ever respond to an emergency where their own life is hanging in the balance as a man would respond. It just doesn't happen that way. And hopefully the lawsuit that will come as a result of this tragedy will make some people open their eyes and wake up. But this is terrible. This man lost his life because the driver panicked, and her life is now ruined. People need to get their heads out of their butts. This mindset must change where we think men and women are equal. We are not equal. We complement each other, but we have never been equal. We both have special talents and gifts that the other sex does not have, and we need to open our eyes to this reality. Okay, let's get into the education of our children. West Virginia is ranked the least educated state in the United States. Let that sink in. But we still brag of an above-average graduation rate of 92% when the national average is 87%. How can that be while we have less than half of our students proficient in English, math, and science? Well, I'll tell you how we brag on graduating more students than anyone else. We do not hold students back when they are failing a grade. We bump their grades, or we give them extra credit for an assignment, and we push our children through graduation like we are pushing through cattle. To hold them back a grade makes the teachers and the schools look bad, and they're not going to do that unless we make them. We are sacrificing our children's education and their future so we don't look bad. We also have the least ready for college students in the United States, with the lowest college readiness scores. This is absolutely for certain. Our schools, our school boards, and our school teachers are not doing a good enough job. This is an absolute, and anyone who honestly looks at the data will see this. We must start holding back kids in their early grades if they are not mastering a class. This is very important, especially in K through 3. We must stop running our kids through school like cattle in a barnyard. But this is only half of the problem. And this is when the tricky part starts. Our schools can only put out good learners and good graduates if we send them good students willing and able to learn. And that falls back to the homes and the parents. And this is another absolute. Our single-parent homes are failing our children. Absolutely failing our children in every metric in single-mother homes. Ask any teacher what has been the greatest problem in the classroom that has only gotten worse over the past 50 years, and they will tell you it is classroom discipline. Teachers have seen the zero-tolerance policies of discipline of the past go to softer, ambiguous, restorative practices where students' good behavior has steadily declined. Teachers no longer feel safe or even supported by the schools and the school boards, especially when parents take up for their children's bad behavior. 50% of teachers rate student discipline as ineffective in our schools. 50%. Today, almost 40% of kids in West Virginia schools are in single-parent homes, and the vast majority of these are single-mother homes. In 1950, only 2% of West Virginia children were in single-parent homes. Do you want to know where the discipline in our children went in West Virginia? I'll tell you, it left when the fathers walked out that door of the home and the marriages. So this is the reality of what we have all done over the past 70 years. Divorce is much too easy to get. Teen pregnancy is 4 times more likely in a single mother home. 63% of children committing suicide are from single mother homes. 71% of children who use drugs come from single mother homes. 71% of West Virginia high school dropouts are from single mother homes. And the list goes on. 75% of adolescents in hospital drug abuse programs come from single mother homes. 75% of West Virginia prison inmates are from single mother homes. And 90% of street gang members are from single mother homes. The evidence is overwhelming that single mother homes are failing our children in so many ways. And the flip to this is 80% of children in a 2-parent home never do any of this. They do not exhibit risky behavior if they have both parents in the house. So let's look at the benefits of having a father and a mother in the home with the children. And let's start with the female children. Having a father in the home offers profound, concrete benefits for female children. Young ladies develop stronger emotional regulation. Young girls don't scream and cry when a father's there and he gives them that look. Young girls develop higher self-esteem, better academic achievements, healthier mental health development, and significantly reduced risky behavior where there is almost zero teen pregnancies or drug use. Young girls must have a father under the same roof with the mother. For young boys, it is even more critical, and I can't say this enough. It is critical for young boys to have a father in that home because mothers can't do this by themselves. Watch these 2 videos.
You have to sleep.
No, I want bed.
You're sick.
No, I'm not.
You're sick.
No.
Lay down, be quiet.
Why do you talk to your mother disrespectfully? You don't know why you do it. Today I'm going to help you find out why. And today it ends. Today it ends. Do you understand? You will not call your mother out of her name ever again.
Those videos crack me up. This is genetic. This is in all young boys' DNA to push, and push. Young boys will always push to be dominant. It is how God created us. However, boys have a natural fear of their fathers, and it is lifelong. When I was 17, I thought I was getting to be a big man, and I said something to my father that I should never have said. I woke up the next day, my nose was broke, I had a concussion, and both of my eyes were swelled shut. And this is the point. I deserved every bit of it. Several years later, when I was in my early 30s, I was a special agent at the time, I was talking to Dad, and he said, "Your father's not the asshole you used to think he was." I looked at him and said, "No, sir, you are not." But boys lose their fear of their mothers by the age of 10. Sure, there are exceptions where strong mothers have raised good boys, but that is not the consensus. That is not the average, and the prison data proves it. Boys do not fear their mothers. If you want a boy to grow into a good, respectful man who is able to control his aggression, you must have a father in that house to get in his face whenever it is needed, and it is always needed at one point or another. So how did we get here? How did our family self-destruct? I'll tell you, it is called no-fault divorce. And the push started in the 60s, and it was first passed in California in 1969. In the 50s, divorce was less than 20%. By the 70s, with no-fault divorce, it was 40%, and it was almost 50% in the 80s. The feminist movement fueled this societal change in the 60s as it received support from Marxist and communist groups here in the United States. The feminist movement convinced many women that being a mother and homemaker was allowing themselves to be oppressed and used by men, and this was all lies to get the woman into that emotional response. My question is this: how has that worked out for you? Single mothers face disproportionate higher rates of psychological distress and social isolation than married parents. And when you have a child or children who are exhibiting risky behavior and becomes a drug addict, pregnant, or even worse if you have a child that overdoses and dies, your life is a living hell. The man is supposed to be there to give mothers the vital support that is necessary to raise children. And that support is vital. And when the man is kicked out of the house, your life as a mother has just gotten worse. You may like it as a free woman with free love, and date all you want, but as a mother, it has just gotten much worse. When my ex, who was an only child, told me she wanted a divorce that her parents were pushing for, I told her, "You do not want to do this." I told her, "Honey, you do not want to do this." And I slept on a foam pad on a concrete floor in the basement for over a year just to stay in that house, to be close to my daughter and to help raise her. This is reflective of the old saying that men will sacrifice their happiness for their children and women will sacrifice her children for her happiness. And after my ex pushed it and the judge told me to leave, I left. And since that time, my ex and my daughter's lives have been one disaster after another. My ex has told me many times over the years that she and my daughter hate each other because my daughter does not show respect to my ex. Well, that is because my ex and her parents never made my daughter show respect when she was little to any of them. And after a person is 10 or 12 years old, their personality is set for life. My ex and her parents did not teach her discipline, and I warned them of that multiple times. But they didn't care what I said. Now they are all living with those consequences. In the last few years, my ex has asked me to remarry her and move back to the 300-acre farm that I built. But that love has long since left, and a man never goes back into a mess that someone else has created over the years. My daughter got pregnant as a teenager, but thank God, she kept a baby, and I now have a very cute little grandson named Gunner. So these are real-life tragedies that happen after a divorce involving children. And women file for the divorce 70% of the time. If it is a college-educated woman, they file for divorce almost every time. It's over 90%. Divorce is much too easy to obtain by people who do not realize the extent of what they are doing. For the most part, men are not looking to get out of the marriage near as much as women do. But with the no-fault divorce, men are helpless to stop it, just like I was. And it is the children that suffer the most, and sometimes that suffering is lifelong. Obviously, many women have made it through this single mother role, but at what cost to the children? because I can guarantee you that a single mother has no idea what her daughters and especially her sons are doing until it is too late. Where father is much more in tune to what young people get into and how to stop it. And the data doesn't lie. We must have both parents in that house if the children are going to be raised effectively. So let's put more light on the feminist movement and its Marxist communist supporters. In 1963, when all of this was getting started with the feminist movement, an FBI report on communist goals for the United States was read into the congressional record. I will only give you a few, but number 17, get control of the schools, use them as transmission belts for socialism and communism propaganda. And that is exactly what the feminist movement did in our colleges and high schools. And that effect is still in our colleges today. Number 40, discredit the family as an institution, encourage promiscuity and easy divorce. Well, they got their way. Our communist adversaries used the feminist movement with the help of the leftist National Organization of Women Lawyers to push for no-fault divorce, to ruin our traditional family structure, and to make us weaker as a society. And they have. They have been very successful. And they had plenty of feminist women who were useful idiots for this purpose. And number 41. Emphasize the need to raise children away from the negative influence of parents. Attribute prejudices, mental blocks, and retarding of children to the suppressive influence of parents. And look how the recent trans movement did exactly that. The schools, teachers, school counselors, doctors, and hospitals were conspiring and did conspire to hide your child's mental confusion of their own sex that over 90% grow out of as adults. Now, many of these kids are adults, and just watch the lawsuits that will be bankrupting the people who pushed this insanity. And I hope they all go to prison too. So our teachers and our schools are having a terrible time of trying to educate a bunch of kids that do not have the discipline or the respect of their teachers to sit in a chair, keep their mouths shut, and learn. We are to blame. We are all to blame. We must get back to being more obligated to our children and stay in a marriage. We must get rid of no-fault divorce and bring back fault-based divorce where one of the members must show and prove cause, which can be adultery, physical abuse, or abandonment, or other things. And with everyone having a smartphone, this is very easy to prove if it is occurring. But if at all possible, we must keep mothers and fathers together for the children's benefit until they are no longer minors. After that, you can do whatever you want. We owe our children that commitment as parents. Even if the parents argue, it is still better to have both parents in that home. When children see arguments that get resolved, no matter how often they occur, children learn conflict resolution. With both parents in that home, we are giving our children the best possible chance of having the ability to learn in school and to be respectful of teachers and others and to be more successful as adults. The data doesn't lie, and it is overwhelming. Single-parent homes are failing our children, and it is up to us, all of us, to make this change. So I hope this podcast gave you some important information. And this is Dr. Wood signing off for No BS with Dr. Wood. And we must make these changes to save our children and our state. We can no longer look at this blindly. We must do the right thing for our kids. So God bless all of you. God bless West Virginia. And God bless America.